I'm not going to be able to talk while we're in print competition, but I want you to see how awesome and intense it is, and listen and maybe learn a couple things, right? Because that's what print competition is good for. Make that sign. I'm a good kid.
Of choosing whether I want to make it a 1-point card or a 3-point card.
Woo!
1 is easy to get you to guess. 3 is kind of difficult. Okay?
Charlene with blonde hair, I'll listen to anything she says.
There's some that's even more points. They get harder.
We're in hospitality room, having a hospitable time.
But you can only choose one.
Blue.
So we're going to start with
We're
blue.
blue.
It's easy. Okay. All right. I can't get you to guess these. They start disappearing.
Oh no!
As I go.
Oh no!
Ready? Here we go.
Dancing! Kicking!
Crying. Chicken pox. Baseball. Pitching. Chicken pox. 3 points. Who's guessing these bitches? Yep.
Life is about to get real.
Listen, you can also choose this one.
Okay.
Yep, action.
5. Yes! Do I take it out? Take it out! Time out! Clap!
No. Clap on.
Oh, sorry.
Pac-Man.
5.
Cinema, take 1, take 2.
Can I skip it?
Yeah, you can skip it. 0.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Paper clip.
Oh, that is gone. Toaster. It was
Stapler. Oh.
Stapler. Wait, what?
I tried stapler.
What was the other one?
How am I going to do a stapler?
So, you are now called the bitches and we're the badasses.
Yeah! Woo! Take your shirt off. Yes. You have so many shirts on.
All right. Oh, you first. Now you're helping.
Gel. Yeah, I know.
Money. Look it. Let out. Buckle belt. We got 2.
Yeah. Salute!
Officer, military, army, navy, air force.
Go to the next one.
Bang, see vampire.
Crown. Oh God.
You rock it.
Yay! What was the one we did again?
Attention. I didn't know what else.
Oh!
Velasquez. V-E-L-A-Q-U-E-Z. Velasquez. You should have a book on him. So I want to take it up a little bit higher, make it a little bit more dramatic. I want to keep it very, very small slit in this. So once again, I'm going to get you to tilt your tiny little bit that way. Good, good. Kira, can you tilt that towards me a little bit, huh? With that background. Just tilt it towards me a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Good. Just a tiny bit on this one. Good. Thanks for that. Good. Okay. Thanks, everybody. That's it, and just bring your head. That's it, thank you. And Ken, really what you did. And so you're doing it in mid-air, right? Like a pucker in mid-air kind of thing. So come right on in, mate, lean right on in.
Just do it.
Right on in.
This wasn't even the shot that had been requested by Nat Geo. They had seen some other stuff that I'd done. And then that didn't end up working out for whatever reasons because of the graphics that ended up going on the cover. And they asked me, do you have anything else? And they gave me the idea of what the story was. So the story was a bit dark. It was about the catacombs in Paris where all the skulls are and all that cool stuff. And I quickly put together about a dozen images that I thought could be fitting, and that's the one they picked. And I remember thinking, oh my God, what if I had not picked that shot to actually get it at that point? But hey, again, you make choices, you take chances. And the thing that I think I learned the most about that shot in particular was take that last shot. Just one more shot. It's not gonna kill you. Give it a go, and you may be pleasantly surprised.
If you relax your eyes and just reduce an image to shapes, and sometimes if you take an image in Bridge or some sort of program where you can take it down to the smallest thumbnail, you can get it out and still kind of see it, you'll see what the shapes are in the image. And if the shape that is the most prominent, the thing that your eye goes to quickest, is not the subject, and in this case for me it is this big skirt in the bottom corner of it, then I think that you need to rework it a little bit. Maybe it means burning in some of that, burning that down. If the brightest spot on the image is something like the skirt of the little girl rather than the connection between the two people here, then that poses a problem because now the skirt is competing for what the actual subject matter for the image is. So
the storytelling here is between the groom and the little girl. The bride is really a secondary object, but if you pull in the crop from the left and crop the bride even more, you don't become so aware that the bride's head has been cut off, the officiant's head is not there. They become framing.
I can just add to that fantastic title. It tells the judges the story that you want to tell. Will you marry me too? Because this crop is right on top of her head, if there is no more of the image, I think what Paul is suggesting, bringing the entire thing in a little bit tight, might be an interesting thing to try. I'm not saying that would make it merit, but I happen to have loved this image when it came around.
But one of the things I learned from your man many years ago is that once you've got that angle, put the camera right out an arm's length and do an overhead, straight down.
And they'll be like, what? Like, that's like CNN coming into my house. I don't want to put Hosmer in my house. So you can really learn like the level of your community's awareness of what these sessions are just by talking to them and addressing like what concerns do they have. So in our community, we hear people quite often afraid of a photographer coming into their home, or like they're afraid of what they're going to look like without being posed because they're afraid that they need that direction in order to look good. Or we get that especially a lot with our birth clients, or not birth, but yeah, birth clients or newborn sessions. If the photographer is trying to do a session in home, the moms are really concerned with what they look like postpartum. And we still get the concerns of maybe my house is too small or it's not pretty enough, because they see all these beautiful homes online and they're like, I don't know if we really want photos of our house. But I'm like, you're gonna love those photos of your house when later on down the road when things look a little different.
This light bulb went off over my head. And that was when the metaphor of the creative sandbox was born. Anytime you're feeling stuck, you need some help to get out of the muck. You want to find your way back to flow. You need the creative sandbox way. Guideposts. 1. There is no wrong. Enough said. Seriously, think of something that you would love to do, but you're not doing, you're afraid to do, because you're afraid you're going to do it wrong, or it's not going to be good enough. How would your life be different? What would change for you if you knew there were no wrong? 2, think process, not product. When I'm in the creative sandbox, it does not matter if I like what I create or if I absolutely hate it. All that matters is that I'm having fun.
I want to use this image to prove a point. Managing expectations. Often your client is going to bring you something that's a little outside of, it's a little unrealistic of what they want. So the spec sheet for this said, this is the most detailed spec sheet I've ever seen. It said, we have three guys, and we need white background. Here is the lighting setup, specifically, here's the f-stop you should shoot at. Here, I mean, no joke, like everything, which is actually great. I want that, you know. A pullback of the lighting setup, the amount of space that you'll need for the lighting setup, and then it goes on to tell me how to pose them, right? Feel free to ask the subjects to take off their jacket, throw it over their shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah?
Nice.
Feel free to get them to laugh, casually though, right? Like, what does that look like? That's more nervously, right? Okay? Make them be spontaneous. You know, I mean, I don't know, it was very, very elaborate, and 20, basically they described all 20 shots that they needed. Now, how many people in this room think that the employees of this company look like these folks? Okay? Venture to guess this is stock photography. Yep. All right. Now, there's nothing wrong with these guys.
No.
Nothing wrong with these guys. These are very normal guys. This is the kind of client, this is the kind of job you will get over and over again. But I am trying to tell you about client expectation stuff, because that is really, really, really
now in my business because I have that skill set. All right, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to try to give you some of the information that I wish existed when I had first started my portrait business. Because I did attend a lot of conferences and I did attend a lot of classes and I read a lot of books, and there were always really skinny young girls that they would use for posing sessions. And then I would have much fuller figured brides, and I wanted to make them look their best on their wedding day, and I would have nothing to draw upon. All right, so I want to put this image up here because I think these three women all look gorgeous. They look curvy, they look strong, their bodies look beautiful, but they are drastically different body types, and they are drastically different heights, and they are drastically different builds. And so, you know, it was interesting for me to pose them together and see if I found it challenging, because sometimes it's one-on-one, you can kind of work somebody, but how do you make everyone look their best in a group? The reason that I'm able to flatter people of different heights, this girl's a size 0, 5'8", this girl's 5'3", and size 20. They're totally different. But the reason I'm able to flatter people is that I know those foundations and I know how to, I don't look at body type, I look more at proportion.
Connecticut PPA Convention 2017. I wish there was karaoke here.
I told you,
Oh my God.
CTPPA had karaoke, Aurora would be here every year.
The more you can study that. So my advice and my challenge to all of you is pick one day a week, and I'm going to go against everything most photographers say, and leave your camera at home, go to a bar, go to a restaurant, go to a park, and going to a bar isn't hard for some of you, I know. Sit there by yourself, don't bring your friends, sit there and just study people. Because body language, and we're going to talk about coaching the body and posing, which is, kind of plays off a lot of what Lindsay was talking about earlier as well. You know, when she, I don't know if a lot, I'm sure most of you here when Lindsay was here, when she showed 8 different shots with 8 different poses, she said, oh, here's this shot and this conveys this. It's 8 different stories, too. The body presents a new story each time. The squinch is one story. The smile is another story. So when you're looking at approachability, a lot of that can be in just body language. It's authenticity, but it comes from a place from being allowed to be vulnerable. To allow yourself to sit down in front of a camera and be vulnerable. And if you don't spend time as photographers in front of the camera as well as behind the camera, then you're not going to understand what it means to get in front of your camera, drop every inhibition that you have about yourself, and say, you know what, I'm going to rock this. The ultimate sign of sexiness is to engage me directly. Because that says I'm not afraid of you.
Give it to him, girl.
So, lean forward just a little bit. Bring your chin down just a little bit. Alright, I got a little flash power down a little bit. This is not perfect exposure, but you can see how that's a little more engaging.